being here, especially if you're here this late. You definitely love football. So first off, truly just want to say thank you to my Lord and Savior, because honestly, if you would ask me to do this 3 years ago, I would have said, heck no. If you asked me last year, I would have said, still no. And so I'm just very thankful that he's been very patient with me, very faithful to me, and he's just allowed me to hopefully continue to grow into the man that he has destined me to become. Hopefully not only my wife, but also hopefully my players and my fellow coaches I work with, as well as just everybody that I meet, my family, sees my love for the Lord as well. And so hopefully that's the first thing that sticks out with my players. And next, obviously, thanking Trevor Browder, who led me to Mr. Hardy, who, again, led me to Coach G. So we'll kind of get right into it. I'm going to talk about traits of an elite quarterback, or what I believe are an elite quarterback, the EDD drills, or everyday drills that we do at OBU, or at least some of them, and also just quarterback play as a whole. So a little bit about me. From Northwest Oklahoma, born and raised. Went to Northwestern Oklahoma State, which is a Division II. Was there for one season. Transferred to OSU, just wanted to be a student, but I knew I kind of wanted to coach. So after about a year of trying to by myself to get on the staff, reached out to a friend that I had met and was able to get on within literally 2 days. Started out in recruiting, kind of was on the offensive side for 3 years as a student assistant and did that. Got to learn a lot. I tell you what, I can make the best coffee. Had it all measured out. That was kind of the start of it, and then thankfully that role kind of grew. Then in the spring of 21, the door kind of opened to go to OBU, and I tell you what, I fell into a freaking gold mine that first year. Had a bunch of six-year players, including my quarterback, Preston Hare, who he is the definition of what it looks like to be an elite quarterback, an elite competitor, an elite man. And so that first year we go 8-4, and he throws for 40-some touchdowns, has all these records, everything like that. And after that year, you probably can't tell me nothing. Seriously, I was like, oh, this whole college quarterback thing, like, it's pretty easy. That wasn't the case. Year two, ended up having 3 redshirt freshmen. My fourth string was a redshirt sophomore, and we had two true freshmen at the very tail end of that. Ended up playing 4 of those quarterbacks, all due to injury. Ended up playing a 5th quarterback, which was our tight end, our starting tight end that played quarterback in high school. Again, all due to injury. So we went 1-10, took you on the chin, and rightfully so. And honestly, that was by far the best year I've had in my 3 years of coaching and the most I've ever learned. Because from that experience, I got to really dive into what I know about X's and O's, really dive into what I truly know about the game of football, dive into my mission statement, also dive into just program development. Because on it, like and Coach Jensen, our head coach, is an incredible man. I work with a bunch of incredible people, and the one thing that he allowed us to do was to be able to be a part of the program development and raising the program up from the 1-10 season. And so we made the offseason a lot harder. We combed everything, went through every single detail. And it wasn't like we went out to the transfer portal and brought in 25 transfers. We had the guys we had. If we needed to fill a spot, we did. But this past season went 6-5. I think passing game-wise, I think we were third in the conference in passing while still playing 4 quarterbacks. Again, starter got injured. Backup was a true freshman. He got to play whenever he got done with his 3-game redshirt rule. The next 2 guys came in, played a little bit. So, again, 6-5 was a good year. But really this past year, we've done a really good job this last offseason of really growing in every single aspect. And I think this is the deepest team, and not just myself, but just from top to bottom in every single position that we've had. And I definitely feel confident in at least 3 guys that can play on Saturday. So we're definitely excited about that. And I can't forget, been married for 1 year a week ago. She's incredible. She allows me to do what I love. She makes the money right now, and that's okay. And thankfully, she's okay with that. She's a physical therapist, graduated from Baylor. We got a dog named Baylor, don't have any kids. My dog's like my son, seriously. I throw a little football, he goes and gets it. He loves it. And so, again, without her, there's no way I'd be able to do this today. So, kind of getting into it, the traits of elite quarterback. So, again, after 1-10, just when it came to recruiting, I really was like, okay, is this the little button they've been using? Okay, sweet. So I really tried to dive in and figure out, like, what I believe the traits are. I used to have, like, all these things, like 10, 15 things I was looking for. Really, when it came down to it, I realized there's 3 things that of an elite quarterback that I wanted whenever I'm looking, especially in recruiting and just the guys that I'm coaching. And that is being an elite competitor, which Preston Hare was, and I'll talk about that here in a second, having elite leadership, and also having elite toughness. And so those are the three traits that whenever I'm talking to a coach trying to recruit a kid, those are the three traits I'm really going to ask about. And those are the three traits I really want to know about. So, again, competitor. I kind of broke these down a little bit into three, you could say, or especially this one, the three tiers. First one is the quote-unquote competitor that I hear from sometimes a lot of coaches of, hey, coach, he's wonderful on game day. He is great on game day. He's going to give all every single time you need. And sadly, when I first got there, I had a few of those guys that on game day, they're the first ones to lead out. They're the first ones to do it, be in the front, but that's all it was. When practice, they're kind of moseying through practice, moseying through weights, moseying through conditioning. Really, that next tier is kind of that good competitor. This is the guy that will do what's necessary, the guy that will work really hard in practice, work really hard in conditioning, work really hard in the weight room, do all the things that are necessary, but doesn't have the preparation, the will to prepare to win. And then the last tier is what I'm looking for. And I thought I had it last year in the quarterback I was recruiting from Byron Nelson. He ended up going to North Texas on a walk-on spot, but that's okay. But anyway, elite competitor, Preston with all these things. A relentless, and I mean absolutely relentless in his preparation to win. It didn't matter what it was. In practice, he treated every single rep like it was a game rep. If we were in 2-minute drill, he truly wanted to win every single 2-minute drill and acted like it was for the conference title every single day. If we were in like a little drill, there was one time he lost to one of our freshman quarterbacks. He was pissed the rest of practice. Just so mad, and he actually stayed after practice and was throwing into the net for about 15 to 20 minutes because he's like, I'm never going to lose to that kid again. But that's just that was his mentality, and not only him, but you could see that kind of resonate with the players. And then also, so like I said, practice, weights. Preston was amazing. Conditioning, nutrition. That man was dialed in, making sure he was eating the right things. So he was cognitively and physically prepared for every single game. Sleep-wise, getting his 7, 8, 9 hours. And then also film-wise, he was in there watching film. I think it helped that he was 24 my first year. That's or 23, I guess, married, had 2 kids. At that time, I was single, had no kids, and I was 24. So we were, really close in age, kind of crazy. And then he did the extra work that was needed every single day, taking those receivers, going out, throwing with them, going out, doing all those extra little things, hated to lose, and he truly made those guys around him better. When he stepped on the field, there was a sense of belief that resonated throughout the entire team. And, Preston just always had that kind of knack. So building an elite competitor, and for me, I truly believe that, and it kind of goes back to what Coach Christensen said earlier about you have to emphasize it, but first I must exemplify that trait every single day in all I do. Like, if I'm going to ask them to prepare elite in an elite manner, I have to do the same thing. And when they come in Monday morning and we're watching the film, I have to make sure I'm prepared on every single detail from that game, as well as make sure that, I present to them a great game plan Monday night or Tuesday whenever we present that game plan. And so with that, I have to emphasize why I believe competitiveness is important, because it's it's a results-driven game. If starter comes out, throws 2 picks, he's probably getting yanked, and we're probably going to put in the backup for the rest of the game by halftime. And then also you have to be competitive in life. And that's the one thing my starter right now, Aiden, has learned. And that's also been a very unique trait to see him kind of build throughout my time, because I didn't recruit Aiden. He's from Abilene, Texas. 5 of my 6 guys are from Texas. My other one's from Bixby, if my Bixby guy's still here. Okay, no. Oklahoma. But anyway, his first year, whenever it came to competition, and he'll tell you, he crumbled under competition. He was looking more so at the guy next to him and not at what he could do every single day to be his best. The next spring, he focused on himself, blew the competition out of the water, and now to see how much he's grown with the competitive nature this year, he's focusing on himself, but he's also teaching the young guys trying to take his job. We have a true freshman that's very talented, again, from Houston, and now Aiden's really started to teach him, help him grow, because he realizes if Kenny's better, then he'll push him to be better, and the team will be better as a whole. And so, and then, you have to teach how to be competitive, which sounds kind of crazy, but most of the drills we do are going to have a competitive aspect to it, whether it's throwing into the net and playing a little knockout game, or whether it's in conditioning or lifting. I also get to be the strength coach at OBU, as well as do equipment, which I just figured out yesterday that I'm done doing equipment, that he's going to give to somebody else. I just have to train the guy. But anyway, so with weights, obviously the weights don't lie. And I harp on my guys to get stronger in the weight room. I am there for obviously every single lift. I see their mannerisms. I see what they do. I see how they act. And so I also believe that helps with being a quarterback coach as well. But teaching what it means to be competitive, and also just teaching them how to watch film, which is, crazy enough as it sounds, I lay out a template in my quarterback manual for them that I give each of them every single year. On Sunday, watching just an entire game. On Monday, going through, watching all the first down clips. On Tuesday, going through, watching all the third down clips, and just seeing what the team we're going to play is going to do. On Wednesday, going through, watching all the red zone. Thursday, taking the call sheet that we've built throughout the week and putting it up against the defense they're going to face and going through it. And then Friday, whether it's with myself or on the road, if we're at an away game, us going through the call sheet together and making sure that there's not any questions, or even with Coach Eaton, our OC, who again is amazing to work for, him and Coach Jensen both. And then also just rewarding the competitive characteristics that you want to see. And then next, leadership. So with working at OBU, it's pretty great because I get to live out my faith. I get to talk about Jesus. There's no repercussions. And so with that, we're going to talk about servant leadership. Always, that's going to be the first and foremost thing. Like it says in Mark 10:44, for God did not come to be served, but to serve and give his life as a ransom for many. And they don't have to give their life, but they do have to find ways to serve their teammates. Put them first, because as the quarterback, they need to be serving their guys, serving their linemen, serving their wide receivers, serving whoever that is around them. And then as well, just be an elite encourager. Honestly, that's all leadership is encouraging the guys around you to be their absolute best. And really, leadership is really like a 4-to-1 ratio. Encourage your guys 4 times, hold them accountable to the standard that we have set as coaches once. And so that's one thing I try to get him to do. Next, do others want to follow him? Again, Preston Hare had that trust and belief in the guys around him. And I think the highest honor you can have as a quarterback is being elected a captain on your team by your fellow teammates, not by your coaches, by your fellow teammates. And I haven't told him yet, but I'm pretty sure he should be elected captain this year. And then also, are they willing to hold other guys to the standard on the team? So again, being in the weight room, we have small little standards. No matter what, they're going to get parallel on their squat every single time. No matter what, when they do a pull-up, their chin's going to get above the bar. If they are doing a one-arm dumbbell bench press, every single time they're getting the full extension. There's small little standards that we have set in place, and I just tell the quarterbacks and other guys in the weight room, like, hey, just hold the standard, but do it in your own way. I have some guys that will walk up and be like, hey, man, like, just make sure you're getting a full extension. I have some guys who are a little more vocal and want to shout it. I have one of my quarterbacks, as long as he's doing it in a good manner, he likes to have fun with it. He'll walk over and start hooping and hollering, hey, get low in your squat, get low in your squat. And that's just his way of doing it. But as long as he's getting the message across and holding the standard, that's the most important thing that I'm worried about. Next, building leadership. So again, like I talked about, servant leadership. So for them, every single fall camp, I challenge them to go and serve one teammate or coach, but it can't be me. They have to go out, find somebody new, serve them in a different manner. Whenever you're looking to serve, you're going to find ways to serve the people around you. And so that's one way I challenge them. And then at the end of the day, if we have a meeting or even that next day, I ask them, who did you serve and how did you serve? Or it could be, hey, going and picking up the bags for our D-line coach, or going and helping our managers with equipment. Whatever that may be, how did you serve? Also, building trust is essential, obviously. And so for them, going and finding ways to connect with a teammate. And so obviously we have like 40-something guys come in every fall, and I tell them to go and find somebody new that they haven't met. So for a freshman, they got everybody. For my older guys, they got 40 new people that they can go and meet. And then, again, at meetings, having them regurgitate and ask, hey, where are they from? Who's their, parent, or what's their parent situation like? Siblings, what are they majoring in? Why they come here? Because then that allows them to build that connection within our team, but it also allows me as a coach. I have 6 guys, instead of I can learn a little bit something new about each of the guys they're going to bring back to me, which for me helps, especially in the weight room if I know just a little bit about them, because some of our defensive guys, I didn't help recruit. I helped recruit all of our offensive guys, not necessarily the defensive guys. So I get to meet everybody and get to know a little bit about them. Then again, just holding the standard. There has to be a standard set, and then just having them hold the standard, whatever that is. And for us, whether it be weight room conditioning or even just no walking on the practice field whenever we're out there. So, and then toughness, mental and physical toughness. Do they have the mental toughness? And there's that S word again. So again, if they say they want to be all conference player of the year or the conference quarterback of the year, are they willing to hold the standards that they have set every single day to be that kind of player? And I think whenever you have them, like Aiden says he wants to be that kind of player. Kenny, my backup, says he wants to go to the NFL. And I can tell them, okay, so is what you're doing right now setting you up for your future? Because you missing class today and not passing your test is not setting you up for your future. If a coach comes in or an NFL scout comes in and asks, I'm just going to be honest, because that's also my name that I'm putting on that kid. But if we're in the weight room, hey, man, like it says on your sheet you're supposed to be doing 295, but you're only doing 225. Like, why is that? Oh, coach, I don't feel like it today. Okay, well, is it a feeling or is it standard? Which one is it? Like, you can't have both. And so next, persevering through hard times. Obviously, life's hard in college. I like to hear about guys who are willing to persevere through hard times. And then high pressure situations, like I said, 2-minute drill. I love to go through and watch quarterbacks in film and see, because thankfully we have access to, I think, a lot of the Oklahoma and Texas film for full games, and so going and seeing how they react, and also seeing in person how they are in those high-pressure situations. And then also physically, are they willing to play through injury? Or if their toes hurt or their fingers hurt, are they going to sit out? Are they going to stand in the pocket and take a shot and deliver a strike, or are they going to try to evade or cower down when somebody's coming at them? And then lastly, do they push past their limits, which again more so goes to talking to the coach and seeing, are they willing to push past their limits and really try to be the best player they can be. Quick story about a guy playing through injury. Aiden last year, we were in Game 5 playing Henderson State, and first quarter takes a shot, kind of gets up a little bit after about an 8-yard gain. Honestly, kind of a normal hit, not really a shot. And then he walks over. I can tell, hey, like, you're hurting a little bit. What's wrong? He's like, I think I got the wind knocked out of me. I'm like, hey, you fine? He's like, yeah. So he plays through, gets to the third quarter, and he takes another little hit after the break. And the trainer comes over and says, hey, I'm going to check out Aiden. Goes to the tent. They're pushing on his ribs. And Aiden, just stone cold, is just like, I'm fine. Like, I just want to play. And so he goes into the game. Fourth quarter, just takes a shot to the ribs. And he's laying down. He can barely get up. He tries to get up, and he tries to wave off, and the trainer's like, I'm yanking him out. So they yank him out, take him to the hospital. He has a pneumothorax. For those of you guys don't know what that is, that was a punctured lung. So I let my quarterback play with a punctured lung. I'm not saying to push him to do that ever, but just he has the elite toughness, and thankfully it wasn't a full punctured lung. It was a 30 or 40%. I don't know what the difference is. But anyway, he ended up just sitting out those next 2 weeks and then came back after about 3 weeks. But he's just a kid that is extremely tough. It's not the first time he's done anything like that. But I want guys who are willing to play through injury, because I do believe that's how you can also get your teammates to believe in you. So I'm massive on the intangible traits first. A lot of the things that you can't see that you have to talk to coaches, have to talk to people about. Next is going to be the physical traits. With that, the 3 A's, accuracy, anticipation, and arm strength, which I hate the word arm strength because it's not really arm strength. It's truly velocity, because the arm has really nothing to do with how fast you can throw a football or whatever miles per hour. So it kind of makes me cringe, but just for the sake, 3 A's. With accuracy, it's all about having a very consistent base, moving in the pocket, and just keeping that consistent base, and also very consistent mechanics. With anticipation, being able to throw the ball early. Whenever you're going to throw a hinge route to the sideline at 12 yards, are you throwing it when they're getting to 10? And so just having that ability, and also if you're running the Air Raid 95 cross concept, you check off the jet concept on the front side, you have the cross coming to your vision. Are you able to anticipate that window and know what the defense is in and be able to throw it early? Because, in college and also higher levels, obviously the windows will close very quickly. And then lastly, velocity, because whenever you're throwing a football, truly, it's all about your legs, your hips, and your core. And that's more so where the strength, the velocity is going to come from. And so one thing I'm a massive component in, I know if you watch like the quarterback documentary, they're big into like the whole rotational movements. We don't have that kind of time. So the biggest component I love is a squat. And so with like my starting quarterback, although he's 6'4", I challenged him. I said, I want you to squat 405. Like at minimum, I want you to get to 405. I think right now he's at 375, something of that nature. So hopefully by the end, by the time we get to fall camp, hopefully he's in that 405 range. But the biggest reason is just because I do believe that the stronger their legs get, the more power they can generate from the ground and the more velocity they have. And I've seen it time and time again with a few of our freshmen when they come in. And even my incoming freshman now, he sent me a video about 5 weeks ago, of him squatting, and I was like, Bubba, you got to go way lower. You're not even close. And so anyway, I was like, take the weight off, worry about depth. And he said he knows just the feeling of over the past 5 weeks, as his legs have gotten stronger, he's noticed more velocity on his ball when he's throwing those field outs, when he's throwing, the 40-yard go ball, when he's doing all those small things. And so, small little thing, this is a lot easier to go. So I could put pictures of my guys. This is a lot easier to type in NFL QB grip than go through influencer and try to funnel through all those photos. So all to say, these are the main 2 quarterback grips that I see the most. Is, as you'll see, there's Dak Prescott on the right, and also goodness gracious, Brock Purdy on the left. And you'll see he's got that ring finger on the first lace and that pinky on the fourth lace. That's a very common grip as well for more so guys with smaller hands. I kind of grip that. I'm not saying my hands are small, but still. And then also Dak Prescott, you can see he's kind of moved down one with that ring finger on the second lace and also that pinky on the fifth lace. These, again, the most common grips I see. I had a freshman come in a few years ago. Don't see it much, but he had 3 fingers on the laces, and the ball wasn't spinning very well. And I was like, hey, move them up a little bit, try this. Thankfully, it started to come out just a little bit better. And now he can spin it probably one of the best. But just small little things like this can make a massive difference, and then just having a nice, relaxed grip. With that, kind of moving into ball carriage, obviously you have Tom Brady, in my opinion, the GOAT. Just throwing that out there. Also, and then Jalen Hurts right here. Both of them, very relaxed ball carriage whenever they're taking a drop in the pocket. Most of the time, you're going to see guys are going to have the ball within the middle portion of their chest when it comes to the vertical portion, maybe a little bit higher, close to their neck, but more so in the chest or upper abdomen, and then really on the middle to back pec. Those are kind of the areas I've seen the most. And then you'll see my starter, Aiden, he likes to have it more so tilted a little bit to a 45. But the biggest reason is because whenever you're down here and you're more so in the middle of your chest and the ball's tilted down or slightly tilted up just a little bit, it allows your shoulders, your traps, as well as your forearms to be relaxed before you throw the football. And I get it. Some guys want to be up here, and that's okay. And it seems like that's a lot quicker of a motion, and it can be. Kyler Murray did it in high school, but it puts a lot of stress throughout your upper body. And then, but also you'll see now in the NFL, they've brought him down a little bit, brought it more so to that back pec, the middle of the chest area, because he's more relaxed. Next, base. You'll see Kenny right here. This is my backup quarterback. He'll be an actual true redshirt freshman this next year. And he played, I think, in all 3 games he could last year. One big thing that I tell them is to have, before they throw or even whenever they're just in the pocket, trying to keep that back foot underneath that back armpit or that back shoulder, just because that allows them to be able to gain all the power from the ground. I really don't want them too long, and then I tell them 60-40 on their weight distribution, so 60% on the back, 40% on the front. I know Joe Burrow talks about being 50-50, and then he's eventually going to try send a little bit of the weight back to his back foot. And then also a slight knee bend. As you can see, he currently has more of a vertical spine, so from the waist up, having more of a vertical torso. And then also I'm big, and I talk to them about a quick 6-inch stride, sometimes even just like no striding if necessary in the pocket, just being able to be more rotational. I tell them kind of almost like a baseball hitter, not much like a pitcher, more so like a baseball hitter. Whenever you're hitting a baseball, you have a nice shoulder width, probably maybe slightly outside. It really just depends on what's comfortable for those guys. When you're hitting a baseball, you don't see a guy really reach out because he's lost all his power. It's very quick. Sometimes it's even up and then straight down, but it allows them to keep that power before they throw the ball. And so Kenny's doing a really good job right here of that. And he also, you can see, has a very nice, relaxed ball carriage before he throws the football. Next is going to be the low position. Had to put Kellen Moore on there because I used to have a lefty. So this is all part of my quarterback manual. But anyway, and then Mahomes, this is kind of the first progression into the throwing motion that I teach. Whenever I first started, 9 years ago, I had a quarterback coach, and he was massive on going straight to the vertical L first. As we kind of progressed, he got away with it, and allowing to have just a little bit of a loop allows more of throwing that second and that third layer type of football. And so I teach this more often than not. So when I say getting to a lateral L or a lateral 90, it's more so right off that back pec, about a 90 degree, about 90 degrees with their arm. And so this is what I teach now. You'll see sometimes Tom Brady and some of those guys in the NFL, and just guys in general, whenever they're bringing the ball back to a lateral 90, sometimes the tip of the ball will face more down. Sometimes they'll face more of a 45. But generally in this area, this is usually where they start. Probably 99% of quarterbacks in the NFL. There's a few that probably don't. Next, release point. As they're coming through, a few of the points I want to show you guys is, obviously you have Tom, you have CJ, and then this is my starter, Aiden. All three of them, as they're throwing through, have a consistent base of like having level shoulders as they're coming through. Their head is very neutral. They're not really trying to like lean downwards. And then also they're keeping a very firm front side. You could say Aiden is quote unquote like eating the apple with his left hand. That left hand is very tight right next to his face, and he's almost eating the apple. And even with the different arm slots of CJ being a little bit higher, Aiden being a little more out, over the elbow, and then Tom being a little more outside his elbow, they all are trying to keep level shoulders. Now I know some guys, they teach level shoulders at all times. I'm not one. I understand that different throws are going to require different shoulder levels, everything like that. And then kind of a picture of more so the old school way I was taught was more so really to like, I guess, drive this elbow down as hard as you possibly could, almost like a baseball pitcher. And the only thing is your shoulders are going to start to dip more often than not. And it's just going to be a little less inconsistent. Josh Allen was more so like the bottom picture. Now he's kind of transitioned into what he is now. Tom Brady was kind of the same, and now he's more so transitioned as well throughout the years. So getting into a little bit of the everyday drills, a lot of these drills you're going to see, at least the first like 4 or 5 are going to be some that it's before you even throw the football. It's before the ball even comes out. So more so drills I'm going to do on like a Monday whenever we have we'll have like 45 minutes or 40 minutes of individual period. Then the rest of the week will be more so like pocket movement, things of that nature with Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But Monday, since it's just a helmets only day, these are things that we do. Now, one of these drills I do every single day, and that's going to be bag ball security, or bag BS as I call it, every single day. Took this from Coach Rattay at Oklahoma State. And so no matter what, we're going to do it. As they're running through the bags, it's 4 bags, about 1 yard to 1.5 yards apart. And for me, that's about shoulder width. That works about perfectly for me, that they can step through, and they should be coming through. There's a starting cone and a finishing cone, and then just making sure at the very end they're tucking it in their right arm. As they come back, they should be tucking it into their left arm when they come back down. And so we'll go both ways. And then next you'll see them. They're going to go lateral. This is also really good just for their hips as they're working through. So this, again, is the first drill we do every single day. There's no question about it. They already know we're starting with bag ball security every single day. And so, again, staying perpendicular to those bags, like right down that line, and then basically stepping over with each foot. And so this is something, again, we do every single day. And then lastly, working through the bags. I usually have an assistant that kind of helps out a little bit this day he was filming. He's kind of hit or miss. He's got a lot going on with school. He's also a youth pastor. He just got hired, and he's only like a junior in college. So he's got a lot going on, so when I can get him, it's great, and he'll usually try to get the ball out and then I'll be at the end of it with a bag for them to finish through and tuck, and then also we'll go back. Here's Aiden doing the same thing. The one thing I liked about Kenny previously and Aiden is they're keeping a good relaxed ball carriage the entire way through, and then also they're being very quick with their base throughout it. You'll see a clip next that I'll show. Right here, Mateo's doing not the best job. You can see he's kind of heel clickish. He thinks he's going to Kansas. So he's clicking his heels. Really not what you want to be in a pocket. You really don't want to be clicky in the pocket. And so this is actually good for me to see because a lot of times I'm the one hitting him with a bag. So it's good to have video on it so I can show him. We can fix that in the fall. Okay, so something we do. I got to figure out how to stop this. What button do you push to stop this? Oh, play? Okay, perfect. So you'll see right here, he has it tilted up just a little bit. The one thing I like is he's got that back foot underneath that back shoulder pattern, that back armpit. He's got a good relaxed ball carriage. And as he comes through, he's going to always stop at, well, that didn't work. Okay, and he's getting to that lateral 90, so he's going to go first on his, he's going to go 1, 2, and then the third time throw through. So then that way, the first 2 times he can kind of get where I need him for the lateral 90, and then the last one, be able to throw through and keep those same mechanics. And then also while taking a step, and you'll see Jason right here, or well, I guess this is more so the back angle. And again, the one thing oh goodness. The one thing I like about this clip from Aiden is, again, as he steps, every time he steps, he's reaching that ball back to get to that lateral 90. And then as he's coming through, keeping good level shoulders and almost kind of leaning in to the power or leaning a little bit to the right, somewhat more so or leaning into his arm more so instead of really trying to lean left. And then Jason right here from Caddo Mills, Texas, again, doing the same thing. He was one that when he came in, he wanted to be, and I knew after I let him throw this way for about 3 days. But for his first 3 days, he came in, he went straight to a vertical 90, and then would throw through. Now, after about 3 days of watching, I told him, you will not be able to throw a consistent 2 or 3 ball. So layer it over a backer or be able to get turnover on a 3 ball. And he's like, why is that? And I was like, because you're going straight up and you're coming straight through. And so we had to kind of change him a little bit. Thankfully, he's a very coachable kid. He wants to coach one day. And so he listens extremely well. He's a very coachable kid. So we kind of were able to work on it. And he's been, like I said, great to coach. And he's honestly probably one of the smoothest guys just because he's willing to work hard and do a lot of stuff on his own as well. And so, again, hitting that second, getting to a lateral 90, and then third time, throwing through, staying very, very level as he's throwing. And so now we've done that. So we've done getting to the lateral 90. Now if you have a guy who really wants to open up that front side a lot, then this is a very, very good way. Or even if he wants to get that front arm really, really high, this is a really good way to have him stop using his front side as much, is by forcing him to put his hand either down by his side. As you can see, he's gripping his belt. So that way he doesn't use his front side at all. Doesn't use his front side at all. Practice keeping it closed. And so this is a good clip of Jason doing that, and then just throwing, picking a spot, obviously, and then throwing through, and then Aiden doing the same thing. And now one thing I was talking to my brother-in-law, he's going to be a baseball coach. He played college baseball. And again, when you're hitting a baseball, it's a lot like throwing a football, just the rotational aspect of it. And I said, what are drills you do for a baseball hitter? And he said, to keep them closed. And he said one thing they'll do is a lot like this, and without me telling him the drill, he just said that they'll put his left arm straight out as and the ball on the tee, and then the batter will load and rotate and hit that ball. And so the other day I tried it with Aiden. I made him put his front arm straight out whenever we were throwing on Monday, and then throw through. And so then I truly know, are you staying closed when you're throwing with your front side, or are you opening up the entire time whenever you're throwing? And so that's something that we tried. He said it's a very good overemphasis drill, and so that's something that I'm going to be using a little bit during the fall with the guys, just once a week for 2 or 3 minutes, just pre-practice, or even just right as we're warming up during practice. So Oh, goodness. Okay, Coach Smith kind of talked about it a little bit. He's like, a lot of guys don't really want to hit that back foot on that third step and throw. Well, we do it, again, every single Monday. So he's already on the first step of his drop. He's already been looking at the safety on his first step, and I just teach the big thing is the second and third step. I want a good second step, and I want that third step right underneath his back armpit / shoulder pad, and then obviously everything else after that. That was a little fast. Getting that back foot in the ground. I'm a big believer in getting your heel in the ground. Jason's done a better job. He used to be extremely toesy, but if you're going to throw a football, you're not going to hit a baseball like this. You're not going to squat like this. This is not a powerful position. And so he's thankfully slowly started to get more down a little bit and have a little bit more knee bend. He's extremely close to getting that heel in the ground, so this is okay. I like him to get a little bit more. Getting to the lateral 90 portion, and then again, following through, trying to keep a good firm front shoulder. So again, same thing, and every single time picking a point. Here's Kenny doing the same thing, and one thing, again, I love about him is that he is really, really good about getting that full foot in the ground, and again, getting to his lateral 90, and then following through, and here's a back angle of him doing the same thing. So again, something we practice all the time, because again, if we're going to take a three-step drop, I want them to be balanced at the top of their drop and be able to throw on that third step, which leads me into my next clip of Aiden right here, adding the hitch element to it. So again, taking that second crossover step, putting that third step in the ground, I believe if he needed to, that he could actually throw from this position right here, but instead we're adding the hitch element to it. So the biggest thing I want them to do, and he's getting a little close for me with his feet, but the biggest thing is I really want more of a step and replace kind of hitch, not more of a shuffle and then get really, really close with their feet. And so I want more of a step and replace, which you'll see with Aiden do right here. Step and replace, put that whole foot in the ground and be able to throw through and keep level shoulders the entire way. So again, as we go through the progression, now we're going to go directionally to the right. This is like we know we probably more than likely want the field out throw to the right. And so that first step again, let's say we're checking that backside safety on that first step. You probably want the gift or the free access on the right. And so then that second step, getting his eyes to his target and he's starting to dovetail or get his hips in the direction he wants to throw that football. Because the number one thing I don't want him to do is get to his second step. As he hits that third step, then starts to open up. So I want him already directionally in the way he wants to throw this ball. So doing a good job getting the full foot in the ground, being level, being smooth, and throwing through. And now you'll see again, we're just going to add the hitch element, nothing crazy. And then again, he's getting too close for me. We're continuing to work on it, but getting too close for me. But at least the biggest thing is he is stepping up instead of shuffling. So he's getting that foot down quick, and then throwing through, and then next, we're going to go to the left again. And again, quarterbacks, sometimes the hardest thing is throwing to your left as a right-handed quarterback. And so again, being able to, before you throw, or as you hit that second step, start taking your eyes where you want to go. If you're going to throw the field out to the left or the field come back, and start to get your hips in that direction, getting that full foot down, and then being able to throw through. And then again, Kenny right here is going to do the same thing on rhythm. And then next, we got Jason adding the hitch element. So again, getting his hips aligned where he wants to throw the football, getting that back foot down quick, and then trying to get that front foot down quick as well. And then Kenny right here doing the same exact thing. Now, the one thing, again, I'm not big on with Kenny, and the one thing that him and I are working on a lot is how toesy he gets at the top of his drop. He's a really good athlete, and I understand that, but he wants to be very toesy. So he gets up. You can see he's on his toes. This is not a powerful position to throw the football, and so he has to go up to come back down. So I really want him, and I've seen he started to work on it throughout the summer workouts and things like that. But again, finally getting his full foot in the ground and throwing through, and that's probably one of his best traits. So again, Aiden doing the same thing, and then just a small clip of us doing it in a game versus Harding. I don't have a ton of clips, but just try to get one for each of them. And so again, playing Harding, we have 40 here, which is our 4 verse concept, and then our H right there, our number two receiver on the right. He's just got a little choice off the man over top of him, and so Aiden knows it. And so again, taking a quick drop, getting to his 3, getting that back foot down quick, and then throwing that choice route. And so then next, again, just a look from the back angle, getting the 3-step drop, kind of getting his hips aligned where he wants to throw, getting that back foot in the ground quick, and then following through. Next, we're going to use the Brady shuffle, and this is something I kind of brought to him. It would have been last spring, and was like, hey, let's try this out. We throw a lot of concepts where it will have a quick game component, but also have an intermediate and a long an intermediate component mixed in with the quick game. And so one thing, and also some of our glances as well, we started to use this because a lot of them wanted to take a very long 3-step drop, which made them late to the glance. So we started to use this. Again, it's just like a one small step and then kind of shuffling back and getting to a good solid base. And this is honestly whenever Aiden's at his best, is being able to shuffle back, get that whole foot in the ground. He already has a very, very solid base, and then throwing whatever it is, the glance, the out, or even if it means looking at the out first and then a small quick reset to the cross coming back into his vision. And then same thing for Kenny, doing the same thing. Again, Jason from the back, just a one small step like you're going to quick game it, but then you're shuffling back. So again, kind of a look right here. We have kind of a spacing concept up front. We're going to motion in our X on a short motion, end up having basically a sit with an expansion hitch and a flat route on the left side. And Aiden already knows, hey, if they're going to be playing any type of one high coverage or any type of even poach coverage where they're playing a cover 4 and they're kind of pushed over to the trip side, then he knows I'm going backside. I'm working off this Will backer right here to the boundary, number 28. And so he knows that going into it. He can tell. Now, the biggest thing I tell him to worry about is to make sure he holds the mic. And so you'll see right here from this angle, he looks straight down the middle of the mic, and then just timing-wise, it works out really well. He's anticipating this window in between the Will backer and the Mike backer, and then making a good throw, putting it on his chest. And then here's also, again, the same thing. And again, we use this a lot. We're going to have a lot of glances within our route tree, within our concepts. And so this is going to be used a lot, as well as with the mix of the short and intermediate game together. And so again, he knows he's going to the right, bringing in the short motion. He should keep his eyes down the middle for that split second to hold the mic exactly where he needs to be, and then turn his head. So that way, now right here, if he ends up looking straight at that glance route immediately, the mic's going to get there, and he's probably going to bat off, maybe even pick it off. So that's a good job by him, again, staying right down through the mic and then working to that glance route. So here, if you have a quarterback that has a problem with keeping a good base, whether it's too wide or too short, this is, again, something we'll do a lot, or again, really every Monday, is having 3 bags. I'll send them directions. Right here, my assistant didn't get the full clip. Usually I toss them 3 balls, so it'll be 1, throw, 2, throw, 3, throw. And so I'll send them in whichever direction. And then, again, this is a very reactionary drill, so I want them to keep their base, keep their feet in the ground throughout the entire duration, as you can see. Keep their feet in the ground, and then on the clap, that's the reactionary part. Get that back foot in the ground, rotate through, and throw through, and then also always trying to hit our receiver right in the face mask. And so that's the biggest thing. I tell the guys right here, you can see the entire time, or the entire thing. Jason's doing a good job keeping a good base, keeping a good vertical spine, keeping a good knee bend so he can be in a powerful position. And then again, when it's time to react, and get that foot down. So here's an example of Jason doing it. Aiden got hurt in this game, and so he had to come in the fourth quarter, I believe. And so right now, it's a four verts concept again. Running Florida, have a one high safety, and so he knows he's going from 3 to 2 through his progression. Now, right now, he should not be working out of the pocket. Obviously, there's no pressure. There's no reason to be backpedaling out of this. But for whatever reason, he decides to. So, again, here's him working back, more so working back with the bags, keeping a good base the entire time. And then, obviously, does well, makes a good throw, Here you can see it from the full angle. But the biggest thing is being able to make sure as he's backpedaling and as he's working laterally, keeping a good base, keeping those feet in the ground. And then next, we're going to end up adding this element to it. So shuffling through the bags, working up in the pocket, or even if we have to work back. So if you have a guy who, whenever he's working up in the pocket or working back, he struggles to keep a base, or he struggles to get too close, or he struggles to get too long, this is a very good just way of making sure when they slide up, all they have to do is just slide through the bag. The biggest thing you'll get when a guy does this for the first time is he doesn't want to hit the bag. And I'm like, dude, it's just a bag. If you hit it, it's going to be okay. So, and they're so worried if they slide back that they're going to hit it. And I'm like, you're going to be fine. You're okay. But each bag should be separated by about a yard and a half. And then also there will be a little bit of separation horizontally. That way they have enough room to slide up or slide back depending on. And so then we'll go forward again. Here's Kenny doing the same thing. And you can also see, again, more so reactionary. There's two guys catching, myself catching the first ball. And then also we have another one of my quarterbacks out to the right as an out on that side. And then so the first one's always going to come to me. Second one's going to go to the out. Not natural hands on my part, but, it's okay. Then again, working backwards, doing the same thing. Working up, and so then that allows them to react to it. And then here's an example. We're playing Henderson State, have a very long developing cross play. We call it Dallas. Two long developing crossers. And so right here, he's working laterally through and then slides up into the pocket, keeping a good base the entire time. Puts a good ball. Matt Norman just couldn't bring it down. But anyway, so again, goodness. It's actually hilarious. This kid's actually calling me right now on my phone, which is very ironic. Great kid, though. Love him. Was definitely the spiritual leader of the quarterback room. I can definitely 100% say that when it came to just player-wise. Leads our FCA, does all that stuff. Next, another drill that we do as well is, again, having two bags. This allows them, like where they're working up in the pocket, again, it forces them to either take a short step or to basically almost no stride. So you can see Aiden's doing a good job taking a three-step drop, stepping back like he's working in the pocket, working up. And so he has to take either a short step or no step and really rotate through. And then I'm always going to either be away from where he's stepping. So if he's stepping left, I'm going to be on the right. If he's stepping right, I'm going to be on the left and force them to throw against where they're stepping. And so again, you'll see very good relaxed ball carriage. Elbows for the most part are down, keeping a good solid base, getting that full foot in the ground, getting that front foot down quick, keeping good level shoulders the entire way through, and almost kind of leaning into his throw whenever he's throwing. And then here you'll see Kenny doing the same thing, more of the shuffle drop technique. And so again, working up like there's somebody right there in his lap where he has no room to step. If somebody has fell down or anything of that nature, if O-lineman's fell down. So again, getting that front foot down, keeping good level shoulders the entire way through. And then again, working it to the left, same sort of thing, working up into the pocket, and then again, throwing back like he's going to be throwing a post curl on his left side. A little bit of QB play, and so pre-snap routine, with how we play, we play fast, or that's how we're going to play this year. If you know anybody in our conference, don't tell them. That's how we played 2 years ago or 3 years ago with Preston and that whole crew in 21. Then we kind of got away from it. Wanted to be more of a 12-personnel team. We just didn't have the guys. Can't really be a 12-personnel team with a 6-foot, 210-pound tight end or fullback. It just doesn't work out. But we have the guys at tight end, but we're going to play fast. And so with that, I try to keep things very simple. If it's a run play, do you have your free access throw? Like somebody mentioned earlier, 5 yards isn't sexy when you throw it. But if you get a 2nd and 5, it's pretty great. Also, a lot of our plays are going to be pure progression, adding the cross element, having mesh, and then also a lot of it's going to be 1 high, 2 high. with just them being able to walk up. Now, we will have like a post-snap confirmation, but a lot of it will be one high, two high. And then you also see for us, I want them to be able to know down and distance with every single play and also contour. And so they need to make sure they're doing this in a very quick manner with how fast we're playing, but they need to be able to be situationally aware every single time. And so right here, you'll see whenever I say contour, it's all about reading corner, safety, safety, corner. And then naturally, as they come back to the box, they're going to see everything else, and they should just get a good pre-snap identification. And so let's say the down marker's on the left side. I want them to start on the left side. No, okay, hey, it's 1st and 10. 3? Oh, okay, well, we're gonna work fast. Okay, so work on the left side. Okay, hey, it's 1st down and 10. I see the corner at 7 yards, see the safety at 10, see the safety at 10, corner at 7, whatever that may be, and be able to have a good identification of what it is. And also, hey, it's 3rd and 1. Okay, it's a run play, corner safety, they're playing too high. I can hand this ball off. We should have the numbers for it. And so, again, being able to go corner, boundary safety, free safety, corner, being able to see, okay, there's probably pre-snap rotation. That free safety is probably coming down to the curl flat area, and also hopefully being able to see any stack looks that they may give with that field safety stacking over a backer. If there is a stack, it could be, that backer is coming and the free safety is filling down, or that field safety is filling down, as well as, hey, okay, they're going through, corners both at 4. The safeties are both at 14 to 15. Okay, it's probably a cover 2 look. And then lastly, also quarters, birds on a wire, corners at 7, 8, safeties at 10 on the hash. And so lastly, we're always going to start with that boundary safety. If he's rolling to the middle of the field, probably going to be some version of a 3. If he's getting straight depth on the hash, probably a version of quarters. If he's getting, now we've seen this quite a bit as well. If he's getting width, it could be a half, or it could be a 3rd. We've seen that with if the corner wants to cloud to the boundary, as well as if he comes down, okay, he knows, hey, it's a 3rd. And then lastly, QB metrics. This is so my first year, or really I guess my first 3 years, I did a bad job of, I put a law on their, I put a law on their plate and was like, hey, here's 10 things I need you to know. These are the 10 goals we need. And I quickly learned I want to find something for them that they can just every single play just know. And so 1st down, and somebody talked about this earlier, I want you to be very efficient. Just get 4 yards. If you can get us in 2nd and 6, we will be a very successful offense. I firmly believe it. Just like Coach Birdwell said earlier, just stealing yards. If you can get 4 yards and take a simple hitch, do it. And so hopefully we can get to 60% of the time. 60% of the time, get 4 yards. Last year, I think we were at 47, which obviously is not 60, so we need to raise that up. I just need them to manage 1st down really, really smoothly. 2nd down, at least get half the yard. So if it's 2nd and 10, I need them to at least get 5. If it's 2nd and 6, I need them to at least get 3. Just put us in a good situation. And lastly, obviously convert. Our first year, I think we were 55% 3rd down percentage, which was like 2nd or 3rd in the country, and we're trying to obviously get back to that. If we can be above 50, then we're top 10 in the country. Ideally, that's where we want to be. And then lastly, here's my information. My Twitter's there. I'm just going to be straight up. I hardly ever look at Twitter. Seriously, I really do. I may tweet, whatever. I don't look at messages. So if you're going to contact me, please either text me or just send me an email. Those would be the top 2. And obviously, like I said, our schedule-wise, home games, away games, this year I firmly believe we could have the best record we've had just with depth, with where we're heading, or where we've been heading the past 2 years. And so I'm definitely excited for what's to come for OBU, and very, very grateful for this opportunity again. Thank you, guys.